What's up, y'all? Today we're breaking down a superhero-esque style graphic, and I say that because I kind of got the inspiration from this Avengers poster right here. I started out with this AI background that I made, sort of theming the whole graphic around the trophy that they gave out in the tournament, which was like, I guess, themed around the area, which has these butterflies and sort of like a wooden plaque and whatnot. I created this background using Midjourney. I just typed in, I don't know, something like mystical forest with orange glowing butterflies, that sort of thing. Then I used AI in Photoshop to generative fill to fix that butterfly that looks kind of wonky over to the side, and then we got to work. So I started out with putting a photo of Missy Gannon, which is her name, in the background. That's set to multiply, and then I just kind of brushed away everything but like her face and the side of her face. Then I brushed on some glow using Color Dodge. That's just an orange brush because I'm going to put a butterfly there to like glow onto her nose, and there you go. So I just cut that out somewhere and put that sitting on her nose, and then use that little glow to make it look like it's actually there, which I think looks pretty sick. Then in the background we have these lens flares. So this is really what gives it the vibe of that Avengers poster. All those are set to screen. And then we have our trophy look that I basically just built out of like AI pieces of wood that I found. Self-explanatory. And then I just changed the coloring and the lighting on those using a hue and saturation and a curves layer to sort of match the background a little more and that other piece of wood a little more. And then I put an inner shadow on all of that, so it just gives it some depth, because right there it just looks kind of like very light and not a part of the background, and then you add that on it and it kind of looks like it's, 3D and where it's supposed to be. So now I use a curves layer to brighten that up a little bit, and a selective color to tweak the coloring on that whole thing to match the background even more. And then I just added on some shadows where I'm going to have her standing down here, as well as the USWDGC champ, text above. So it's just like 3D text that I made and placed it on there. So this is basically what the trophy looked like with like some orange butterflies on it. So then I used a curves layer to give the text some depth there, and I used this color fill set at 10% and put it on the text just to give it a little bit more of a texture. You can barely even tell, but like it almost just looks like white text, and it actually has some texture. You can see it right here on the U. So I just wanted to like make that pop a little more, and then we have an orange glow on that whole thing. So then we added in the picture of Missy with the inner shadow. The inner shadow is just that orange glow that's basically going to be on everything. And I used a camera raw filter and unsharp mask on her to really make that photo extra crispy. So that's what it originally looks like, and that's what it looked like after. And then we just do the same treatment on the rest of the cutouts, same glow, same filters and whatnot. On this one, I use a little bit of motion blur, so you can see it on like her arm, her hair, her shoulder, most places except for her face, because sometimes their face can get too blurry and then it just looks kind of messy. But I really like how that looks, because it looks like she's just like in motion, in the motion of the throw. So you can kind of brush that in where you want to with a soft brush. And then I use an exposure layer to darken that all up a little bit just to match with the background some, and one final cutout with that same inner glow, brighten that up a little bit with an exposure layer, and then just darkened up her feet a little bit with an exposure layer. I've been adding in this like secret disc golf basket in a lot of these graphics, and sometimes it's like more obvious like this one, sometimes it's like impossible to see where it is, but yeah, I just like doing stuff like that for fun. And then we added in more lens flares. So all of these are just kind of the same thing. I changed the opacity around a little bit, change the style around. That one's set to screen. Then I just darkened up this spot over here with an apply image stamp of the whole thing. And then with that same thing, I use another apply image stamp, set it to screen, and then just brushed in where I wanted there to be a little more glow and whatnot. And then I did that same thing again to put in some extra glow on the butterflies and on the lens flares. And then I use a curves layer and brush it in just on her eye right there, so you can see, makes it pop a little more. A lot of times people do this too much. I think this looks pretty good. You really, when you're making like someone's eyes brighter, you don't want to do it too much, because then it just looks fake and kind of weird, and you really have to find out like where the line is on that. So I found another butterfly, put him in there, and then just darkened it up. You can see how right there the like dark areas don't match with the background, and to make that look a little more realistic, I used a curves layer, and now those dark areas match with like the other dark areas in the graphic, and it makes it look like it's like a part of the graphic. Then I just use an orange brush and kind of brush that over him, set it to color dodge, a low opacity, and just gives it a glow effect. And then same thing down here on the right, all the same effects with another butterfly. And then I use an exposure layer to darken up underneath this necklace to make it pop out a little more. And that necklace I think I made with AI as well, and then just using different techniques to make it pop. Then I use another exposure layer to make that butterfly in the background pop as well, just to make it look like it's glowing. And we added in her name and the logo. This graphic's on Patreon if you want to go check it out, download it, and follow along with the video. And feel free to try out some of these techniques for yourself in your next graphic. Thanks for watching.